think I'll call this quotes from the past. It's things I wrote on that cesspool called Facebook a while back. I'll start from a little bit recent and go backward on some of these. This is July 4th of this year, 2019. We live in a society in which the majority are trapped in a repetitive cycle of the appeal to authority logical fallacy, as we were chemically, spiritually, and informationally poisoned from birth to manifest. A perpetual state of mental children with degraded non-existent morals. Government is a religion, as is money, as are the religions themselves, all to divide the psyche and soul of the mass indoctrinated. Men and women need to become fully aware and conscious within and quick. I feel for those that haven't even started, as it's a painful process to break a lifetime of destructive and immoral beliefs, addictions, and actions. We can choose to evolve our consciousness or remain unknowing slaves that contribute to our fast approaching collective destruction. To me, all harmful issues we faced as a species distill down to belief based on immorality over knowledge of morality and truth. Other issues include, but not limited to, master-slave mentality, self-worship, other worship, technology used to irritate, manipulate, surveil, and subjugate, harmful chemicals, metals, preservatives, and more in processed food, drink, soaps, makeup, etc. Fossil fuel hoax, constant false threats, and continued wars of aggression, depopulation, destruction, and reordering of society according to Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030, etc. The institution of a new order based on the Noahide laws and the Talmud to rule the, quote, soulless goyim, end quote. 24/7 trauma-based programming from all networks, shows, movies, games, and media. I grew up blindly believing most things. It was my responsibility to fix myself. I only wish I could have realized decades ago. I hope each can turn themselves around inside soon. The heart's moral compass is key, and there doesn't seem to be much time. Good luck, as luck is not involved in reality. So a little bit further back, November 14th, 2018. Health is dependent on diet. Plant-based consumption of vitamins, minerals, proteins, fats, and enzymes is true soul food, as it contains no dead sentient energy. I have lived in this manner for almost 3 years, haven't been to a doctor since, and have healed massive amounts of internal damage and ailments. I will never consume again the vast majority of the things I, quote, lived, end quote, on for 39 years. We've all been terribly deceived, poisoned, suppressed, and controlled for generations. And when you really realize what is doing it is what we were programmed to believe and trust in, you see. Each and every individual soul is dependent on awakening to itself to find its own knowing and feeling of truth of itself, what reality is, and the physical, mental, and spiritual impact of all past and current action. I don't write these things as some sort of narcissistic attention-seeking behavior or as a way to sound self-righteous. I only want to help folks heal from things they didn't realize were killing them. In that healing, everyone would realize the layers and lies and enslavement all at once, and change it within all the systems and areas at once. Wherever that soul was at the time it realizes the costume it wears. The true nature of a man, woman, child is not represented by what society has become. We each find our true nature inside when we realize that is our choice, and we accept that choice for as deep as it goes. It is the way out of the matrix. It is the key inside. It is your true, infinite, sovereign soul energy connected to creation and the Creator. However you might conceptualize, know, and feel that. The month before, in September 2018, I am so tired of this ridiculous, childish, evil system of mind-controlling and controlled slaves and enslavers. When the individuals making up these systems decide to truly become adults in mind, body, and spirit, and feel it all, they will stop being controlled children. It took me 39 years. I wonder how long it will take for the rest. Not long, I hope, as it seems we are out of the false construct of time we were taught. Folk are quick to judge nowadays, especially judge those that don't view this shared experience with an exact matching perception of false belief. It's unfortunate what society has been unknowingly made to be unknowingly used as slaves. Knowing, feeling, living, and sharing truth will save us all. I am convinced, as that very thing saved me 3 years ago. Please get involved, folks. I need help. We need help. The truth needs help to be known, felt, and communicated. Please feel free to check and share any of my work you might find value in. P.S. The belief in money and belief in belief keeps the population enslaved and slavers of itself, divided into fractions and factions of materialism, greed, fear, and insanity. What a shame, this mess. Life is much more profound than the normalized deception lets on. It starts and ends inside you, inside me, inside all living beings. Feel, know, grow, and spread life-giving truth. Or continue on the dark path illuminated only by sharing accepted ignorance. Tree of knowledge. Consciousness, reason, in the brain. Tree of life, empathy, feeling, in the heart. Combine the messages of the two into one resonance of wisdom in the present moment, all the time. That's equilibrium. See, this seems to be the day before in September 2018. Seems to me that more folks would be quickly reconsidering their definition of natural by now. Maybe more are, and I just can't feel it. Hope so. P.S. There's no such thing as authority. I don't care what piece of paper or story it comes from. Not man's authority over other man type of authority anyway. Rights do not come from a piece of paper. I have the right to take any action at any time throughout the course of my life that does not cause harm to other life. We are all born with that. It was instantly stripped by the established slave system we were taught to believe in our captors. Realize and internalize that right of life that belongs to you as that belongs to all equally. I do not have the right to take any action that causes harm to other life, unless I'm forced to actively defend myself from an outside uninvited threat. No system, belief, or justification exists to make it right. The consequences of our past, present, future are ours to live with alone. It takes the healing of painful acceptance inside of a life of brainwashing tricks to find the internal spark of infinite spirit that now knows and will stand and speak for the truth. The truth that we are all brothers and sisters of the same Creator, and we have been made into an an energetically vampiric society that feeds on itself while being fed on by greater darkness. I feel like one of very few trying to get individuals to actually truly realize and know their own divine energy, their quote higher self, end quote, their soul. I'm trying to tell the other 7.6 billion supposedly all at once. It has yet to work. I need more help. We need help. Everyone has to truly know themselves so they can truly live and truly help. Please know and feel natural law, non-aggression principle, protection and care in line with nature and God. That is the fastest way to expand the consciousness and empathy to almost infinite knowing and seeing of deception. That is how you can make a profound difference for good in this world. When you know, you can help teach as we all continue to learn and grow together. From July of 2018, find a quiet place, close the eyes, quiet the mind, feel the heartbeat, envision the inner you, open the inner senses. The interconnectedness of physical body to the mental field, to the spirit, to the soul, to God, to all surrounding life is always present. To fully grasp and comprehend the full extent of consciousness is an individual inside job. This is merely the advice of a former spiritual mental child that ran around reality for 39 years as a complete fool. Trust me, I'm not judging. I've broken that emotional mind control trap as well. I'm just saying that things are backward, inverted, and suffering has been normalized into a way of life or business. Things seem to be run by fake authority-wielding, greedy, fearful, narcissistic children in different costumes, aspects, and scenarios, all the while perpetuating the enslavement of life within nature in the pursuit of the fake money that ensures their own enslavement. I get it. I was taught the same. I lived it. I am convinced that the truth of feeling and thought communicated enough will trigger, has triggered, nonviolent change. How? By the enslavers realizing that they are indeed slaves and spiritually standing up in truth to address it. Don't limit yourself, your thinking, your feeling, or perception with labels. Don't buy the narrative of division. We all hold infinite potential inside. Our only, quote, task, end quote, in life is to fully realize, then morally and correctly act as such. Again, I am simply attempting to help by sharing things I've come to know after an arduous healing process. It's vital to society as a collective for each individual to fully become responsible for themselves and to truly care. Alright, July 25th, 2018. The quote, education, end quote, looking back clearly, I received can be distilled down to something like unnatural inversion programming. The layers of false belief and mind control were a lot of work to shatter. However, infinitely worth every hurt feeling I had to feel until reconciliation and internal unity occurred. Realizing my thinking and emotion was wrong on nearly everything allowed me to fully delve into the true feeling empathy of the heart, where I found my soul. Don't wait for magical saviors. You are the only one who can do the inner work to fix the dark, narcissistic, materialistic, false ego construct that you play out day by day. Who are you? I don't know. I'm speaking in general terms about something I did within myself once I truly saw what I had become. July 22nd, 2018. What I've said, I can say 1,000 ways with 1,000 stories, but I would only be repeating the same message. I won't. There's almost no original thought / feeling on these platforms. They aren't designed to encourage it. They're a weapon against it. They turn folks into weapons against each other, and most importantly, their true nature. They are sounding boards and echo chambers of disconnected, negative, immoral, incorrect, incoherent, divisive bullshit. Don't be one of the raging, ravenous zombies that are the cheerleaders of this sick culture / society. Due to the forced indoctrination from birth, unknowable to me for 39 years, I was a zombie for quite some time, though that was some time ago, and never again. Relearn everything with you as the teacher and student. Inner thoughts, emotion, and feeling first. Folk are under multiple layers of mind and feeling control. That's why seemingly intelligent and good people continue to rationalize and justify slavery and the corruption of natural law in almost every aspect of life, as most of us were incorrectly, incompletely, and purposefully taught. Do you believe in government, religion, money, academia, banks, corporations, judicial systems, prisons, modern medicine as they stand and operate? You've been taught to worship its false authority, false hierarchical structure. You've been taught to strive to attain the different ranks, labels, and largely meaningless accolades. These are all layers of mind and feeling control. They make the individual feel less than. That creates holes inside that the controlled attempt to fill from the outside. It doesn't work, and that's called slavery. Yes, the current condition of our species is indeed slavery. The slaves are used to control each other while a very few strip this existence and the individuals in it of energy and resources in about every unnatural way I can seem to imagine or find. Here's the issue. What men, women, and children do within all those belief systems is exactly what's causing their and our enslavement. Why? You've been taught to think it's normal. The systems aren't the problem, they're the constructs. They do not operate and act on their own. The men and women in those systems that can't see or can't care to see are perpetuating the current mind, body, spirit enslavement of themselves and the rest. When the men and women in those systems fully find themselves and see reality, they are the ones that will bring real peace and change. Enough at once, it could happen overnight. I'm no longer in the system and am trying to help with a perspective from outside it after having lived it. I've typed and said enough for now. I'm personally doing physically, mentally, and spiritually great. I type that not to brag, but to make clear that I'm happy, healthy, and at peace, and am not crazy, and am no threat to the well-being of myself or any around me. That's what I'm trying to tell folks they can find for themselves. It's full individual responsibility time, folks. Good luck. It's on you now, and it always was. July 14th, 2018. How does one tell the masses that they've indeed been fooled at every turn throughout their known existence? Just like that. And just like I will continue to do until all the folks I've known, all the folks I don't know realize it. I say these things in text and spoken word with a device that causes radiation damage over time on a cellular level to my body. The light from the screen is designed and emitted at wavelengths that weaken the perception of the eyes and the mind's eye. The electromagnetic frequencies it emits are designed to interact with metal particles and particulates that have seeped and have been directly injected in vaccines throughout our minds and bodies to create chaotic thought. The device, these platforms, and the information pushed and fed to you are weapons of control. The only way to fix this world is for each individual man and woman to take responsibility for their own mind, their own thoughts, their own teaching and learning. The reality you were indoctrinated into, picked your role in, and are dutifully acting out, is your open-air prison. Drop your taught beliefs about you and find you. You are sentient spiritual energy that gets a body and mind to experience, learn, live, grow, evolve, and gain wisdom of your own. Age is irrelevant. It's not too late to realize your infinite energy was totally fooled and enslaved by the want of other. The energy of the parasite that drives the destructive behavior we see and experience is greed and fear. That parasitic energy can only be cleared by the individual for themselves, within themselves. Define thoughts by want or need truthfully, and defeat the negative, addictive, damaging cycles of incorrect and or immoral loops, patterns, and behaviors. The fear of truth, true self, and admittance of being tricked so thoroughly is what keeps men and women trapped in thoughts outside themselves, in the outside world, from outside teachings, ideas, and concepts. Know thyself by searching your thoughts, feelings, knowings, and unknowings, reconciling all the inner dark baggage of experience is an absolute necessity to find equilibrium, illumination, wisdom, truth, God, peace, etc. A constantly balanced, in the moment state can be achieved naturally and is our natural state. It's a state of full awareness of perception, thought, and feeling, and their interrelationship within and without. In this state, the entirety of your ability, knowledge, and wisdom grows, and grows exponentially with action directed to help other with no agenda but truth, and to share truth, just to help. Whether it draws scorn or praise is irrelevant. It just is. It just works. It's just truth. It should be every being's goal. It's the, quote, meaning of life, end quote. It is truly our nature to fully develop our nature to the best of our ability and act to help others realize themselves so they can save themselves and their loved ones, and so on and so on. We all have to be mental and spiritual adults, not just physically older folks repeating all the bad info, propaganda, and twisted rhetoric that was given us. I hope these words help someone so they can help themselves and someone else. Man and womankind's false belief in the unnatural exchange of energy known as money keeps the whole in a state of enslavement. To what? Doesn't matter. Quote, they, end quote, attach that false belief of monetary value to almost everything, including thoughts and your very existence. Who are they? No one I care to know. Takes each one of us realizing and admitting that to ourselves and each other to truly change things with care, in line with natural truth. God's truth? I wouldn't presume to speak for such an entity, just sharing my point of view. P.S. The truth can sting when it hits the care center of the heart. Doesn't make it any less true. Just means you have soul searching to go inside yourself and do. It's the work only you can do. You can't be forced. Fear keeps you from you, and in turn from spirit. It's each's own responsibility to develop, and these days rapidly progress, their own original energy into a coherent mind in a body connected to heart's intelligence, in unison with the gut intelligence, in equilibrium with the individual soul, linked in truth to the energy of Mother, Father, Creator, Nature, Source, God, Singularity, Infinity. It's a process, but what's deemed by some as, quote, Christ consciousness, end quote, enlightenment, samadhi, etc., is the natural state of existence for a man or woman. We were poisoned, toxified, indoctrinated, and programmed to not realize this most simple, yet most profound truth of your nature. Vaccines cut us off from our true nature at birth in this sick society, and continues the inner and outer disconnectedness in the individual and the programmed and indoctrinated society in general. The damage can heal with natural medicine, plants, cannabis oil, living as a steward of life, not as a ravenous consumer of it. This isn't judgment from me against anyone else. I unknowingly participated in and perpetuated the very state of enslavement I so clearly see now. I fixed myself when I truly saw what I'd become and what has happened to us all for generations. I know the potential exists for this world to change in an instant, because that potentiality is firmly at the core of each and every one of us. Much love to all you fine folks out there. Take care. The whole world is going through it. We'll make it. July 29th, 2017. The subconscious is the weapon of choice for control of the masses. From conception on, we are bombarded with frequencies, light, information, and sensory input. These things, among other things, have been used in ways that are very harmful to the mind and body, and by default, spirit. The masses are continuously fed disinformation, half-truths, and outright falsehoods. The masses are locked into repeating patterns of thought and action of the subconscious mind, as if the individual is constantly repeating old images their brain cannot stop playing. Think of it this way. Long before you were born, some folks got together and devised a way to control and manipulate man and womankind. After the planning, all of the concepts, ideas, and inherent truth of reality was gathered together in the form of a disk. The disk swirled with the intermingling radiance of this plane of existence. Then the hammer fell. The concepts of reality were smashed and fragmented. The fragments were each given a twisted backstory of fact and fiction to hide the truth. All of these created concepts and ideas were then fashioned into a kaleidoscope and held up for the folks to peer through as they attempt to define the world around them. The damage has been done and is increasing exponentially. Divisions in the subconscious and damage to man and woman's DNA through ingested toxins and frequency manipulation serve a purpose. They keep the individual locked into a narrow and primal mindset and slow the progress of evolution. Each individual has to realize they are much more than the sum of their parts, as are most things. The man or woman does not have to be only a meat puppet in a meat suit. Quiet the mind, balance the heart, and remember, something is on the horizon. I hope everyone wakes up in time to notice.